just doing a really short version of my really drawn out 40-minute long argument for fine-tuning, and the argument that there is a designer, not it wasn't just random when the universe was created and made. Um, there are many constants. There are many fundamental laws and things that need to be in place with precise strengths set for the universe to actually be able to support life. And for Earth to be able to support life, there's about 68. Now, I'm mentioning only a few of the ones for Earth, and I'm mentioning the ones that are most quoted for the universe. So I'm going to go real fast so you can, I'll cover them, but I'm not going to spend ages. So we need there needs to be the ratio and size of electrons, protons, and neutron mass has to be basically correct, like what we've got, the atomic mass. Any changes in size will result in no atoms forming for electrons, protons, neutrons, etc. So they have to have the correct sizes. There has to be the bonding between them, the strong nuclear force to hold them together, has to be exactly at that strength level. So that setting has to be correct, and the weak nuclear force strength, basically the opposite side of the coin, has to be set at that. If you have a different strength level of the nuclear force, nothing will hold together, the protons, the neutrons, etc. So there'll be no atoms, no chemistry. The speed of light has to be what it is, cosmological constant, gravity, mass of the universe, electromagnetic force, gravitational force, Planck's constant, carbon energy, resonance has to be the same, Boltzmann's constant has to be right, the ratio of protons to electrons, exact subatomic decay rates, and correct distance for the stars. These are just the stuff that needs to happen to be prerequisites for life. With different rates of ratio of protons and neutrons, protons and electrons, the electromagnetic magnetism would nullify gravity and no objects could form. A different electromagnetic force, for instance, wouldn't allow any bonding between chemicals or light, no elements, and you couldn't get elements above element number 5 on the chemical table of boron. So, yeah, without gravity, obviously, nothing will exist. Yeah, so there's a lot of them. That's the fine-tuning ones. And they're just saying, physicists are saying, they are so precise and perfect that it's just, it just can't work without that. Okay, so that's the argument. Now, for life to happen on Earth, there is a number, there's 68 of them, separate conditions. I've got 18 here, and it's quite amazing. Yeah, we have to be in the correct galactic habitable zone, so our solar system has to be in the correct place in the galaxy, otherwise life won't happen. We have to be orbiting the correct star, which happens to be called a spectral main sequence G2 dwarf star, which is the right temperature, not too hot, not too cold, and the right size. If it's any smaller, we'll have problems with our habitable zone, and then we'll synchronize with it when we're orbiting it, and that would mean one side's hot, the other side's cold, and there would again problems below. We need to be protected by gas giants, which we are. We have shielding. There's planets that shield us. The big ones are out there on the outside. We need to be within our distance to the sun has to be right, called the circumstellar habitable zone, or the Goldilocks zone. We need to have our Earth has a near perfect circular orbit. It's only 1.7 degrees variation from it. The other planets have this 8 to 9 variation, like Mars and everything else. And if we had that would ruin us. We need an oxygen-rich atmosphere. Nitrogen, oxygen to sustain complex life. This gives us a good climate, liquid water, and will shield radiation. We need the correct mass. If our planet was too small, our magnetic field would be not strong enough to shield our atmosphere. You need a large moon, orbited by a large moon. Ours is a quarter of the size of our planet, and it stabilizes our axes at 23.45 degrees and allows our seasons. Again, magnetic field. We need an iron. You need something like an iron core, liquid iron around it, to hot enough to make a strong magnetic field. Plate tectonics has to occur, so you need a thin crust for the plates to be able to regulate the inner temperature and circulate carbon and mix chemicals. You need the correct ratio of liquid to the continents, so the water can cool the temperature of the planet and allow chemicals to mix and recycle. Has to be a terrestrial planet, and you need the correct rotation. We've got 24 hours and 1 to 365 days when we're orbiting the sun and rotating, and so that is optimal. Lucky for us. That's a huge. Just getting those 13 right is like 1 to 10 to the power of 15. Okay, so it's actually kind of hard to get right at that point. Okay, number 14, our Milky Way has to be the correct size, shape, and distance from other galaxies, otherwise our Sun couldn't form and we would have a different mass. Okay, number 15, Sun is a single star configuration. 70% of stars are actually a binary tyranny, or they have they revolve around each other, type of complex system. Ours just happens to be single. 16, Jupiter balances the orbit of the inner 4 planets. That's lucky for us. 17, best tilt for seasons and life to occur is we need a beautiful tilt around 23 degrees. What should we have? And number 18, we have to have the right size and shape. Otherwise, temperatures on our planet would be too hot, too cold at night, and gravity would be too intense or be insufficient. This would cause problems with wind velocities being too severe and also or inadequate. Okay, so they are the 18. Remember, there's 68. You decide if you think that's not enough fine tuning to call a designer, then what can you do, eh? But 68 conditions for life just on our rare planet, and a multitude of finely tuned settings for life to exist in the entire universe to be possible. The only argument against it is that there is a multiverse. There's an infinite amount of universes out there, and if you're lucky, randomly are changing all the settings and changing all the fine-tuning settings that you are with an infinite amount, you're bound to get it right. But we only know of one universe, so again, it speaks of design. That's just a stupid argument to get out of the obvious.